They say children are resilient, but resilience isn't a shield, it's a scar. And Arsal? He carried the weight of a broken home in silence, like a soldier too young for the battlefield. He was only 10 years old, but he had mastered the art of disappearing. Not physically, no. He was there, sitting on the cold staircase, arms wrapped around his knees, ears tuned to every argument erupting in the living room. To the world outside, his parents were just another couple navigating marriage. But to Arsal, their home was a war zone. The living room, a battlefield. The silence that followed every fight, a landmine. "You never listen," his father would shout, voice cracking like thunder. "I'm tired of being alone in this marriage." His mother would scream back, her voice sharp, desperate, not for victory, but for peace. Some nights, glass shattered. Other nights, it was just words. But the aftermath was always the same. Doors slammed, plates rattled, and Arsal, wide-eyed, stared into the darkness, wondering when his childhood would begin again. It wasn't always like this. Once upon a time, not long ago, laughter echoed in that same kitchen. Arsal, younger then, barely 5, would watch his parents dance to an offbeat tune while burning rotis on the stove. They laughed over silly mistakes and shared dreams over late-night chai. His father used to kiss his mother on the forehead like it was a prayer. His mother used to hum while making breakfast, her eyes full of light. But love is fragile, and when two people stop nurturing it, it dies. Quietly, without fireworks, without final words. Then came the night his father packed his suitcase. There were no goodbyes, no dramatic promises. Just a cold, heavy silence as he said, "I'll come by next weekend to pick him up." His voice was hollow. His mother didn't reply. Her silence was louder than any scream. And when the door finally closed behind him, Arsal didn't cry. He just listened to the sound of absence. From that night on, Arsal stopped being a child. His toys gathered dust. His coloring books remained untouched. At school, he became the quiet one. The one who never raised his hand, never played during recess, never laughed too loudly. Teachers noticed, but never enough to ask. At home, his mother tried. She cooked his favorite meals, smiled even when her eyes were swollen with unshed tears. At night, Arsal would hear her crying, not the loud kind, but the muffled sobs into a pillow. The grief of a woman who wore strength like armor by day and collapsed under its weight by night. She wasn't just mourning a failed marriage. She was mourning the version of herself that believed love could fix everything. His father, on the other hand, disappeared from the picture, not entirely, but enough to make his presence feel like a stranger's visit. Arsal would visit him on weekends. They'd sit in silence more than they talked. Sometimes they watched cartoons. Sometimes they ate dinner at the same table, but the space between them was filled with everything unsaid. His father scrolled through old pictures often, photos of Arsal laughing, his wife smiling, a life that felt like it belonged to someone else. He didn't cry, at least not where anyone could see, but grief lives in the things we don't delete, in unsent texts, in unanswered calls. One day, in a rare moment of vulnerability, Arsal spoke to a school counselor. "I just want them to like each other again," he whispered, "even if they don't love each other anymore." And in that sentence lived the entire ache of a child who never asked for perfection, just peace. Years passed. Arsal grew up. He didn't become bitter. he became wise. At 20, standing behind a podium in a college auditorium, he finally shared his truth. "I was raised in a broken home," he told the crowd. "But I've learned that healing doesn't mean pretending the cracks never happened. It means planting flowers in the spaces where the hurt used to live." There was silence. Then applause. Healing had taken years, and it didn't look like a movie ending. His parents never got back together, but they learned how to be civil, to show up for birthdays, to share a table without setting it on fire. It wasn't perfect, but it was enough. Arsal now walked beside them, not as a broken boy, but as a man who had seen what pain could do and chose not to pass it on. Because sometimes the real happy ending isn't a restored romance. It's a child who learns that pain doesn't have to define his future. And sometimes all it takes is one person in the family deciding the cycle ends with them.